Then we will call this meeting to order. May I have a roll call?
Trustee Anson.
Here.
Trustee Doro. Here. Trustee Myers. Here. Trustee Wallschlager. Trustee Ledke. Here. Trustee Connor. President Vanderstall.
Here. If you'd all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we have anybody from the public that would like to speak on an item, or on items, just not items that are on the agenda. Anybody from the public that would like to speak can head towards the podium at this time. Seeing as there's no one here that would like to speak in public comments, we'll move on to our first item, which is consideration of a motion to approve the village board minutes of October 12th, 2020.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the village board minutes from the October 12th meeting. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item we have is a motion to approve vouchers for payment. This is in the amount of $649,919.16.
I make a motion to approve the vouchers for $649,919.16.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the vouchers. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
All opposed? That motion carries. I'm just going to make sure. With that abstention, did everybody vote aye in approval? Just making sure. Okay. Only because it would only be 4, so that'd be good a little. Now we have consideration of actions related to licenses and permits. This is consideration of a motion to approve operator's bartender's license. This is for, I'm going to, Rebecca Kopka.
I make the motion we approve the bartender's license for Rebecca Kappa.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the license for operator, bartender license. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have we're going to open a public hearing on the proposed 2021 village budget, including the general fund, water and sewer utility fund, debt service, and all other revenue and expenditure funds with consideration of adoption of the budget at the November 9th, 2020 village board meeting.
All right. So before we get into the public hearing, if there is anybody here for it, couple changes since we last met. The fire and ambulance have decreased their budget $22,900. That was 2 radios and a bunch of smaller capital outlay items that they reduced. So that helped us kind of get our budget back into balance where we needed. Then we got our transportation aid number for 2021. Our transportation aids are going to decrease $20,856. So that left us with a balance of $17,990 that we needed. We have put that into rental buildings. Next year we'll be negotiating an extension with I believe it's Sprint. The Sprint tower. Their 25-year lease is coming up. They'll probably want to stay on the tower. That lease will probably end up being more than that, $17,000, but we wanted to give you a balanced budget. I do have the budget. What I'm going to do once we get through tonight is I will make copies of this for everybody, for all the board members. I will have police get it to you sometime this week. That way you have until November 9th, and at November 9th, that's when we'll pass everything, and you guys, any questions, anything you want to change, go through, we can do that. So, but the point of tonight, obviously, is for the public. Just to give you a little bit, we're waiting on the final statement of assessment yet from the state. We submit our numbers. The manufacturing is done by the state of Wisconsin, so we're waiting on that to be finalized. As I mentioned previously, the tax rate is expected, based on statement of assessment, expected to be $4.57. Last year it was $4.55, so 2-cent increase. We have a garbage increase of $5 that we talked about. We have a 3% water increase, a 5% sewer increase. Debt stayed flat. There is no increase in our debt service. Well, there is an increase, but we've used fund balance and other mechanisms to keep that flat. And then we'll still be waiting on the
Transportation $8 amount again.
$20,856 decrease.
Thank you.
That's actually much better than we originally thought.
Right.
And so.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So after that update, we will open this public hearing. You can all line up at the podium, at the microphone, and we'll just take it one at a time. Or we'll just hold the public hearing open for 1 minute, so that we can hold the public hearing, even though no one wants to speak. Is that long enough? Is that long enough, considering no one's approaching the podium? Okay. At this time, we will close the public hearing, considering we didn't have anybody that wanted to speak. Other than Mr. Bailey, thank you. So now we have items that were referred from the October 19th, 2020 Plan Commission meeting. Consideration and possible action as follows. Regarding the proposed development of a lot to be created on Campus Drive, east of Lake Country Lutheran and south of recently approved Paradise Trails condominium development, without access to Willow Drive, that will entail approval of a new certified survey map, rezoning to RM1, RM-1, and the approval of a PUD agreement that will allow the construction of 150 units of apartments in 6 buildings.
With that said, so we've asked the development team here from Catalyst Construction, Lightning Development is the LLC that's going to be the development arm for Catalyst. Their team is here. I'll let them introduce themselves. They wanted to do a 45-minute presentation. I told them just a little bit shorter than that. But they do want to walk through. We do want to do a full presentation of the project in case anybody has any questions or comments. Now would be a good time, but obviously the night of the public hearing would be another opportunity to discuss those items as well. So with that, I'll turn it over to Buck.
Thank you. My name is Buck Knet. I work with Rinka. We're the architect for this development. Ryan Raskin is with Catalyst, and Terry Foster is with True Engineering. I want to just give you a 3 to 5 minute presentation sort of introducing you to the project from our perspective. This is the third time you're hearing this. I apologize. It'll be short and sweet. What I'm showing you is sort of a reorganized version of Exhibit E from our submission, much smaller, and we'll sort of talk through the development from our eyes. So for context, the site is due east of Lake Country Lutheran, just east of Campus Drive, south of what Willow Drive to the east. Willow Drive will not connect through as a right-of-way for vehicular access. And then, so our site plan. So across the development, we're proposing 6 buildings that total to 150 units. And there's 2 main things that we really wanted to achieve when we set out looking at this project from sort of an initial design perspective. One was to actually stitch it into the existing community. The other would be to sort of consolidate the amount of infrastructure in order to retain the amount of green space, something that we hold valuable. We know that you guys do as well, so we wanted to reduce the amount of sort of overall, any way we could sort of shrink this down in terms of the utilities to let the natural space that is existing sort of exist, remain, and sort of flow into the development. So you'll see between buildings 4 and 5, we're sort of pulling that green space in, as well as between 2 and 3, sort of capturing these spaces. This yellow road moving through here, so I want to draw attention to that. When I said we want to stitch this into the existing community, any point on that yellow road should feel like an actual community road. In that we've essentially made all of our units that face it walk-ups on the first floor. You're not seeing the back of a building. When I say reduce infrastructure, we've also sort of consolidated it to between the buildings themselves, so that this road itself really does sort of stitch the community together in a way that is a little bit atypical of development of this type. And lastly, sort of stitching into the existing trail network that's there with the paths between buildings, either retaining or slightly modifying these existing trail system. We know it's valued, and this is in concert with that, so that, again, it's meant to be sort of this walkable community that is actually part of the larger community as a whole instead of sort of a segregated development. Quick diagram here on parking. So we're meeting the zoning codes with 338 stalls. Most of those are, I will jump ahead here a little bit. This is our typical floor plan. So on the bottom here, you're seeing the first floor of a typical building. On the back side of a building, between buildings, you actually have at-grade parking within the building, and then sort of walk-ups that line all the way around the outside. So in both of these plans, on the first floor, you're seeing sort of this barbell shape on the left. Those are the units that actually are walk-ups that face back out to the main road that goes through the development. They create that actual neighborhood feel. Materiality, we've chosen durable and just beautiful materials. You're seeing fiber cement in several formats, as well as masonry units that sort of tie into what our perspective was on that. Is we were drawing on the historical sort of vernacular architecture of Lake Country in Wisconsin. So in our mind, take a traditional farm home, take the visual elements you can see in some of our precedent images here on the right, sort of those simple, clean gables, these long-lasting, durable materials, and we sort of streamlined and modernized that in a way that works well with the community. So almost done. So a couple of renderings here. This is the space between the buildings. I talked about bringing that green space, the existing, which we see as amenity, between the buildings into the development. You're seeing planters sort of at grade. Those signify the walk-ups for each unit. And again, there's two spaces sort of like this, where it's actually like a green space in front of the buildings that is clearly an amenity to the overall development. When I mentioned the fact that as you're driving through that main road, it feels like an actual community, this is what that feels like. So you're seeing on the left-hand side that those are cars that are parallel parked on that main street. We see it as a community street, not as sort of, it's not a back-of-house road. It's meant to be something that is enjoyable to walk along. And on the right-hand side here, where you're seeing, again, that low-grade planter, those are those walk-up units that help make that feel like a great part of the community. And then finally, between the units, on the back side of the units, so I was talking about those at-grade parking stalls. That's what you're seeing here on the first floor. Above that, you have units overlooking that, and we didn't want this to feel like an afterthought or leftover area. So we're very assertive about bringing greenery into this as well. So you're seeing the same walk-up conditions, these nice doors and canopies. You're seeing the planters, you're seeing trees, this green space within this that at any point within this, again, you're not sort of experiencing a back-of-house experience. You're really feeling like at any point you're walking up to your house. And then the last rendering I have is, this is the amenity building on the site. It contains a club room, the functions that support the pool, fitness center, and some office space. This is sort of central to development. It's, again, we talked about walkability and paths. They all sort of lead back to this thing in the way the development is arranged. So that's kind of it. In the interest of keeping this short and sweet, we really wanted this, again, to be walkable, plugged into the existing community. We wanted to build on your existing, you have existing trails, you have great nature as a reference. We sort of pulled that in. And then, you guys all know the vernacular, the traditional architecture of Lake Country. That's what makes this thing feel comfortable and at home in Hartland. So that's kind of it. We thank you for the opportunity, and we look forward to bringing a high-quality development to a great community.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On that main road through there, is there gonna be parking on both sides of the street, or is it just in one?
It is on both sides of the street, yeah.
What about where you have the garages equaling, showing?
Yes.
Now, is there gonna be parking on the street there, both sides too?
Yeah, so on the main
So
street.
that's gonna be one lane down the middle?
Correct. And this is not a through street though. This is sort of ends and detached garages at the end. whereas the other sort of, the main street through development, I'll go back to the site plan quickly.
That's not the main street.
Correct.
No, I mean, that's just because an
Yep.
extra seat, but you're gonna park on both
No.
sides.
On that street, there is no
There's no
parallel
road
parking.
parking?
That's just on the main street.
It's like an alley.
Right, so between the buildings, there is the at-grade garages, which are covered, and then behind that, there's slab stalls, so each unit would have the two
There's a lot of
spaces.
Suburbans and a lot of bigger cars there. Are those parking spots big enough for that?
Yeah, that's a conversation we've been having about the length required for those.
Good question. Yeah, that's come up, yeah.
Okay. Anything else from us then at this point?
We have, it doesn't sound like it, our engineer is here also, you know, obviously like, the item said, I mean, with. When the conversation is done, being sent from the plan commission, it'd be entertained to have or considered to have a motion by the village board to schedule a public hearing on recommendation of a plan commission for Monday, on the recommendation of the plan commission, for Monday, November 16th, 2020, during a joint meeting of the Joint Architectural Board, Plan Commission, and Village Board, which will occur in segments. So that item B that I just read, that would be the next step in the process. Legally, that public hearing has to take place before this were to go, you know, any further. So just so everybody, you know, knows that.
I just had one question just to clarify. In the memo that was sent from Administrator Rotary, it had stated for a public hearing on November 18th, and the agenda states for a public hearing on November 16th, so just clarifying a date.
November 16th is the Monday Plan
Thank you.
Commission. I apologize.
No problem. I
That's
just
the
wanted
18th.
for a motion. Thank you.
We were stuck with, if we tried doing it the first board meeting, which is the 9th, that's 14 days and we need 15-day notice. So trying to get it done within the time frame of the constraints of the public hearing, so.
Well, I was gonna say, would you like to see two motions from boards or just one?
I think that the only motion that to be looked
Just to set the
for
public hearing?
would be to set the public hearing.
Okay.
Yep. And then we'll approve, well, or however it goes, but we would make that approval after all of that, if it gets that far.
I'd like to make a motion to move forwards with a public hearing from the recommendation of the Plan Commission for Monday, November 16th, 2020. During that meeting of the Joint Architectural Board and Plan Commission and the Village Board, which will occur in those segments.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to set that public hearing for Monday, November 16th at a joint meeting of the Joint Architectural Board and Plan Commission and the Village Board, which will occur in segments. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for presenting.
Next, we have other items for consideration. Consideration of a motion to award a contract for the 2020 sanitary sewer lining to Visu Sewer, Inc. in the amount of $46,796.75.
Good evening. I don't know if you're all aware, but we do sanitary sewer lining instead of sewer main replacement because it's third of the cost to the sewer line. What they do is they inject a resin in there, inflate it, and then they go back through and cut the laterals out, the service laterals from the residents. So first of all, what they do is root cut. They got to get it pipe clean so it adheres. Televise it, get the distance from the manhole to see where the laterals are, and then they come through with the liner, inflate it, and then come back and cut the service laterals out. So we did put it out for proposals. Vicious Sewer came in at $34.25 a foot. The next proposal was at $51.50 a foot. So pretty good savings there. So the DPW is recommending that we award the 2020 sanitary sewer lining contract to Visual Sewer for the sum of $46,796.75.
Also move that we approve the offering of the contract to sanitary, or to Visual Sewer.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve that contract, to award the contract for the 2020 sanitary sewer lining to Visual Sewer, Inc., the amount of $46,796.75. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item we have is consideration of a motion to approve change order number 1 for the 2020 paving program and the contractor's application for payment number 1 in the amount of $391,784.77 to Wolf Paving Company, Inc. for the 2020 paving program.
So this change order number 1, as you recall, that municipal parking lot behind Senior Tomas was really soft and they had to dig a lot out. So that's what that $32,916.98 is. So that'll take the original contract from $767,493.60, and the new contract price will be $800,410.58. As you recall, the what we budgeted for that was $900,000, so we're still under the budgeted allotment for the paving project. So along with that, they're seeking a Wolf Incorporated is seeking a payment request of $391,000, $391,784.77.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead.
Do you have a question?
No.
To approve change order number 1 for the 2020 paving program for contractor's application, payment number 1 in the amount of $391,784.77 to Wolf Paving Corp. Inc. for 2020 paving program.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve change order number 1 for the 2020 paving program and contractor's application for payment number 1 in the amount of $391,784.77 to Wolf Paving Company, Inc. for the 2020 paving program. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Dave.
Now we have discussion related to costs associated with this recycling and yard waste site in 2021.
All right, good evening. If you recall at the last meeting we had, the village board moved that the recycle center be residents only, and we were gonna keep the same hours. You wanted to see some financial options. So, I'd been talking with Mike G, just a couple different options we have. First, we could see how 2021 goes, use fund balance that's already in the fund, and see what we get, what the difference is. We truly don't know how many users were residents versus non-residents. That was never previously tracked. I'm just not sure the staffing there would have the capability to do that. So that would probably cost us $7,000 or $8,000, $9,000 if we wanted to do that option. Another option would be we just raise that recycle or the garbage fee to $150. We could go to, like, let's say $152, $153, a $2 or $3 increase. You have about 3,000 tax bills that go out, so that would essentially kind of offset or pay for that. The third option, I'm going to preface it with, I'm not a huge fan of it, but we could have everybody get a sticker, like a $20 sticker. So the issue is they would have to come to administration to get the sticker like they do a dog license and anything else. The problem is going to be on a Saturday when they go to the recycle center with everything ready to go and they're like, well, I don't have a sticker. You have to go to administration. A sticker you can easily hand to somebody else, or you're forcing it to be on a vehicle. So those are really three options. I think any of them will work. Again, we're talking probably $7,000, $8,000. It's not a huge amount. That fund does have the fund balance, but if you wanted to do a charge to citizens, there's numerous ways we could do it. Just kind of want to get your input, see what everybody thinks. Doesn't have to be decided tonight. The advantage is I'll be putting out the tax newsletter with the tax bills in December. I'd really love to be able to tell residents what direction we're going. But again, we could do this at November 9th, but good opportunity for some feedback unless all 7 of you are like, or 6 of you are like, hey, let's do this. So.
The $20 administrative, was that based on just like?
Shot in the dark.
Oh, I didn't know if it was like past of
No,
how many,
again-
how many people came and how many, that will equal the 7,500 roughly?
Some of
or-
the surrounding municipalities have had a $20. I know when I lived in Waukesha previously, it was a $20 fee for the Waukesha Recycle Center, and they gave you a sticker. But again, the problem is, you could give that sticker to anybody if you wanted, and because then they don't check addresses at that point. That's just how it came. It was just trying to think if we have 100 people pay for it, that's $2,000. You know, I don't know how many people would pay for $20 for the recycle site, but I'm sure many would.
But the extra $2 to $3 added on the garbage fee would equal about that same amount that we're
Yeah, I
projecting.
mean, like a $2 would be about 6,000, and a $3 would be about 9,000. And then you would just, literally, we would just tell our staff that are down there, business or employees must present, proof of identification, proof of residency.
What do you mean employees?
The people working at the recycle site,
Our employees.
our employees at the recycle site.
But not employees of residents of,
No. So when you went down there, you would have to show our employee at the recycle site your address or your business address to use that. So, I mean, there's a couple options. If you guys have a different option or different desire, we can look into that as well.
I kind of like the $2 to $3 fee. I think it's quick and easy. I mean, we had, what was it, $5?
We did,
from
and
the other
that
one,
was for
so
the
now you're
garbage.
talking $7, $8.
And again, if we went to if you went up 2 or 3, that fund has fund balance. It has $95,000 in it. If we raise it to 150 or 152, and that becomes 120,000, you could keep that at that level. We did. We kept it at $145 for the last 5 years.
Right.
Because it did build up fund balance. We don't want that. That fund's not there to make oodles of money.
Right.
But I also don't want
It's a
to.
cushion.
I don't want to have to give residents a hey, now we need a
Big hike.
$20 fee
Right,
type thing.
yeah.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
I know with the metal, the scrap metal, that's staying as part of it,
Correct.
regardless, because they make money on that. Now, the brush and stuff, that would be staying regardless as well.
Yeah. 'cause
Other
we do
than-
want all the pickup. Yeah.
The expensive stuff, obviously, so I guess the brush would stay regardless, and we would keep someone checking on that. So it comes down to the oil, right?
And the oil's not even. It's really when you get to the cardboard and the 3 other bins that.
But that's what I was gonna get to though. So
Sure.
we have oil, cardboard,
Metal.
antifreeze,
Yeah.
and brush.
But the antifreeze and oil.
Hold on though, the brush goes, that we're gonna do regardless, correct?
3 bins that we have. Before you get to the oil, before you get to the metal, are those all for cardboard?
Yes.
So we have 3 20-yard dumps.
Yeah, we won't need all 3 of them.
No, and I think everybody already knows this, but we got paid for this, so we started providing this as a service because it was, I mean, it's great, we're part of the recycling program and stuff like that. When it comes to antifreeze oil and cardboard, you're gonna have, I mean, if we charge that $2 fee, we're leaving something open that 10 to 20% of the village taxpayers use. Well, anyway, it doesn't seem like a ton of people use it. Yes, a lot of people use it, but it's only 20% of the taxpayers, if you know what I'm saying. So I just don't, how much of a necessity is it to spend the money? It's only $7,500, I get that. But do we charge everybody?
Well,
so that some people can throw away oil, cardboard, and antifreeze? Or do we charge the people and say, if you're a resident of Hartland, you can do brush, but you can do oil, antifreeze, and cardboard for a $20 sticker? Because not only the people that actually are going to dump that stuff are going to do that, or do we say, forget oil and antifreeze and talk to Hartland Service, like I said, because it's close, and say, hey, can we do a dump where you just charge a customer $5 and they can dump if they're a resident of Hartland or something, you know?
Of that 75, not to interrupt, of the 7,500 that I was telling you about 3,700 of that is salary, which we're going to have anyway.
Right.
So the other 3,700 are the cost for the cardboard, the oil, everything associated with that.
Right.
So, and like I said, we can do whatever. My only worry is we obviously don't want whoever's working down there to collect the $20 fee for
Right.
the cards. I don't mind the cards,
Yep.
but we'd have to be very proactive and people would have to come get them. So I think any of the options work, truly. I mean, people come to get dog licenses now, but not everybody obviously gets a dog license, but it's different if you're going to use a recycle yard. You definitely
Yeah, I know
want.
what you mean.
So you're saying you would not necessarily the board, but you would prefer, like if people are coming to dump brush, anything like that, they could do that. But if you wanted to do cardboard or oil or something of that nature, you would need to get a sticker?
I think that might not be a bad idea, because it sounds like, I mean, are we thinking of maybe not doing brush either?
Oh, no.
I mean, that's totally, yeah, that's what I figured. It was more so just the recycling stuff from Waukesha County was the stuff, we would keep doing the brush anyways, and we've done that
Yep.
kind of as part of DPW, so yes, that's what I was thinking. But it would still be only Village of Heartland residents that can dump brush, and it can't be commercial. You can't bring in a 48-foot trailer and be like, yeah, I just cleared this lot that I bought. Just because you're a resident of Heartland, you can't, you know, whatever. But
And that's the hard part. That's why I gave the first option, because we truly don't know what the cost or usage is going to be. I'd hate to charge a $20 fee, and we find out there are a lot more people that would like to use services. Or I don't know. I don't have a thought either way. There's
the people,
We could revisit it after this first year. So my recommendation would be to do the full service, the cardboard, the oil, and the metal along with the brush. And let's see what kind of numbers transpire in this first year for the 2021 season. And then we can maybe revisit it after that.
So you'd almost be looking at your recommendation as option one, where we kind of eat the cost for the year. We have the $95,000 in fund balance and evaluate the program. Like I said, there's a million ways to do it.
if we were gonna do that somehow, I'd like to educate the people, so for an entire year, they know, hey, this is, then people know, but then maybe we'll get some feedback too. So if we could even get a sign up over there, not expensive one, I mean, but if there's something so that people know when they come and use it, hey, I don't know.
Well,
whatever
maybe
can
when
do
we
to
go
educate the
to
public.
maybe when we go to residents only, we'll notice the cardboard coming down a little bit, because everybody does have a container at their house.
Right,
for
and it's not
cardboard.
being announced on Waukesha County's website, because we are part of, there's nothing wrong with that, we're part of that recycling program, but people were coming and dumping, kinda like if we do the appliance program, you know, we might drive over to
Yeah,
New
absolutely.
Berlin to dump our, you know, appliances, computers, whatever, so. But I should shut up and let
So
someone.
we don't have to, obviously, we don't have to make a decision today. We can, doesn't matter either way. I don't have the best answer. I think any of them are good. It's just a matter of what you want to try. So. If you can always make a motion if there's something you want.
I'd just like to make a motion to try option number one for 1 year, and then reevaluate it afterwards, because then we'll have true numbers, or close to true numbers.
Sure.
And we'll know exactly what's,
Yeah, we'll know
what direction we should go in at that point.
What's option
Instead of
number
kind
one?
of guessing.
Option one is where there is no extra fee.
Okay.
And we learn more about how much the tipping fees for cardboard are, and how much tipping fees are when they come tip and haul it away. How much we're actually paying for the oil and antifreeze, and, you know, if it's twice a year, is it really needed? What would be the blowback? And so essentially we would be using fund balance to run that program for next year, so that we could evaluate it next fall and come up with whether we want to do stickers. Maybe we keep it free. Maybe the 150 that we raise the garbage is enough to kind of offset everything. I don't know.
Okay.
So that's his.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to go with option one and, review this for, 1 year. Any discussion?
By moving with option one, Ryan, is there still a way to update the residents to the president's recommendation of getting it out there that we're going to, for a year, watch this or something like that in those tax bills that are going out?
Yeah, I mean, we still do the newsletters. We could include a mailing and water bills coming up in future months. Our tax bill letter, I probably won't put much because we have 2 pages of, there's quite a bit of information on it. We might put that, hey, this year we'll be evaluating to see what the true costs and benefits of the program are. I don't want to scare people because getting rid of a service never goes over well.
You could actually hand out a flyer too as they check in.
Could do that.
Yes.
Okay.
So that
And we can put it on a banner. We're gonna make a banner after we decide what direction we're gonna
Yeah.
go.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The motion is carried.
All right.
Option
Thanks,
one
Ryan.
was
Thanks,
chosen.
Ryan.
Thank you. Next, we have discussion and consideration regarding the before and after school program with the Hartland Lakeside School District. Hello?
In your packet, you've received a memo from me stating that the before and after school care is basically not doing very good, and the early release. We did kind of separate them as 2 programs just to keep financial costs to see if, if we had to cancel, if we couldn't do before and after school care, could we do early release or vice versa. Overall, if we continue with the enrollment that we have, we would lose $7,500 for the school year from 2020 to 2021. Part of the concern, or part of why we think our enrollment is down, is basically because of COVID. There's about 300 students in Hartland South, and about 56 of them are doing virtual learning. And we believe because of COVID, parents are working from home, and they have a more flexible schedule where they can pick up their kids, drop them off, or they just don't want them coming. There's probably several reasons we don't even know. I know I saw one family walking down the street that came last year at 4:30. I'm like, you never picked them up until like 6 o'clock. So obviously something's going on. I propose 3 outcomes that could happen is we could support the program, and during the year we could have an increase in numbers because more kids could start coming back, parents could start getting more comfortable. Obviously this election on November could possibly change things dependent on how the outcome is, or everybody kind of COVID cases start going down, and then more people feel more comfortable sending their kids to group things like before and after school care. Also, the school district, we did approach them to see if they would be able to help us, support us at all. And what I was told was it's a lot of money, and they would just take it over. And then I said, what's the probability of us taking it back? And they said, probably not. We would not take it back because they would be using staff like aides that don't work on early release days or don't stay late like teachers do, and they would be doing the before and after school care program. They are running the before and after school care at Hartland North. We used to do that when I first started in 2012, and then I was notified saying that we are no longer doing it. They wanted to start their pre-K3 class, and that's how we got in there because they are a daycare and they can do a preschool. I can't do a preschool. So those are some of the concerns we have is if we give it up, will we ever get it back? But also I know $7,500 is a lot of money for the village. Our enrollment right now for in the morning ranges between 5 and 6 kids. We used to get like 15 to 20. Afternoon, we have 1 or 2. We've already had some days where staff doesn't go in because we don't have anybody scheduled. So, I mean, we're not working if we don't have any kids. But before we had like 5 or 6 in the afternoon, and the morning was our big support for the whole program and for staff. We can't cut staff. We have to have 2 for safety reasons, especially since staff at the school is not there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're not really around about 5. They leave about 4:30, dependent on what's going on. And there's not even sports going on at the schools right now. So that's why I'm kind of leaving it up to you on what you guys want to do. Do I want to lose a program? No. Could this program possibly bounce back and we be back to where we were? Yes. But I do know right now with COVID, my revenue is down, so I don't even have other programs to kind of help support it, to off balance it. So I'm torn. I don't want to lose it. It's a good program. It's a fun program. It's a great program to do with school district because we do have a partnership with them for using their facilities. And I like working with the school district, and it's kind of nice to always have my foot in the door to communicate with them, to be with them. But obviously, it's $7,500 from the village taxpayers. So it's your decision on what you feel is the right avenue to go down.
I think another key factor is that the parents are working from home right now, and I have a feeling in January that's gonna change, that everyone will start going back to work.
Yeah, we don't know. That's the unknown.
Right.
Because it's just, or it could tumble again. You know, we don't know. We've heard so many businesses are going back in January. And I've probably had, I think I've had one kid increase his attendance to early release, but that's only $30 times 20, 30, you know, $60, $90, whatever the total is. I'm not a math person, sorry. So it's just the unknown. I mean, do we support it? Do we not support it? And then have it make money or stay where it
It
is?
says revenues between 10 and 20K.
Yeah.
Is that per year?
That's
And
the
and
average
Is that
for
much
per year,
fluctuation,
yeah.
almost between 10 and 20? I mean,
Yeah, we're
okay.
making good money.
And right now, it's not, it's losing 7,500.
We're
right?
gonna
So
lose 7,500 with the enrollment that we have right
in
now,
a year,
yeah.
in a year's time.
In the school year of
Right,
2020
right,
to
right.
June 2021. That's,
Okay.
or 22, what was it, 2021? That's,
2021.
Ryan helped me put the numbers together. I mean, it could be less than that. We could break even. Will we make money? No, probably not. I wouldn't.
It's hard to say what takes place, right? I get
Yeah.
This program is annually made 10 to 20,000.
Right.
This is,
Yeah.
So you're forecasting a loss of 7,500.
Based on everything
Based
staying
on
status
September.
quo right now.
Yeah, based
If
on
this stays like
September.
this through the end of the school year,
Yeah.
that's what the projection is.
Yeah, Ryan and I sat down. I told him right away. I said, let's just meet end of September because this isn't looking good. So we sat down. We went through this, and this is what we came up with.
And we've been doing this program, you said, since how long?
Oh my
12,
God.
2012, or?
No,
Not sure if it was about then.
You said you
Was
came
that-
on in 2012.
it might have
and-
been it might have started
maybe a year
school
after?
year of 2011, 2012.
Okay.
Maybe, or maybe 2010, 2011. I'm not sure because I inherited it when I started in April of 2012. They might have had a year maybe behind them, a school year.
So what are you talking, like, number of children?
We like
When
in
it's
the
full
morning.
capacity or versus now?
We had between like 50 and 20 kids on average in the morning, and now we have 5 or 6. And in the afternoon was ours our lowest hit south. It was between 5 and 6, and now we have 1 or 2. And we've even had it. One kid was out because of a positive COVID case, I believe, in the family. So he was out for 2 weeks. So we only had 1, and when that kid wasn't there, we just didn't have staff come. But so it's so unknown. That's the hard part with this.
Yeah, I kind of, I don't know, my thought is we kind of leave it status quo. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with COVID. We hope it gets over. I mean, it's a good thing, obviously, for the residents to be able to drop their children off after school and based on what comes out of it.
Yeah, we can. Ryan and I will be watching numbers every month, going over, making sure, seeing what's happening.
We did this with summer camp too. Everybody's numbers are down. We're not
Yeah,
the only
yeah.
camp. We know that program is way down through the other elementary school.
And not saying, schools, but I hate to see, if they give it up and all of a sudden then, oh, we're going to keep it, then it's lost revenue times infinity, basically. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, pay me now, pay me later, so.
And I wish my other programs were okay and I could just cover this with it, but.
I disagree because it's $7,500 of taxpayers' dollars. Grandma's house goes right to the school and picks kids up if their parents want to sign them up through that way. We don't have Weno over there. The numbers are down, and I think that, I mean, if we try to provide a service to the village, but if it's at the detriment, 5 kids are enrolled, $7,500 loss we're going to take for 5 kids. That is completely unfair. That's less than 1% of the village using something and 100% of the village paying for it. I completely disagree.
Especially if the school district is going to pick up the
And the
program.
school
and so
district
that
is gonna pick it up,
they're
so
gonna-
the service is gonna be there
The
regardless.
service will still be there.
It's
but
just
we're
on whether or not
Not
we-
being able to provide it to parents or residents. I mean, the school district is gonna pick it up, which I go back and forth because then that's one less contacted individual that's around those children during this time, so then they're staying within their unit. It's a little better, so it lowers the risk of village staff as well. I mean, you're talking about right now, you got village staff going into a school, executing a program that's losing money with the potential sense of getting themselves up at risk, and then now you're gonna be out that individual, so now we got one out for a risk, and now you gotta pull somebody else in. Do you see where that can go?
I see.
So it can spiral,
Yeah.
it could spiral the other way also, besides, it could also go up, to your point.
Right.
So I feel a little better knowing that the school district is interested in taking the program, especially they're already executing the program from what you said at one of the schools.
At North, North has always been higher numbers. That was our huge bread and butter until South, and luckily for South, the morning came and saved us. But South has always been a little weaker because the kids are older, and they're not walking to school at the parents are dropping them off at 6:30, 7:40, 6:45. They're not gonna be walking to school that early and stuff. So, so in the evening, it's always been different.
I just have a problem. And the problem is, I look at my tax bill, and I look at all the tax dollars that are going to schools. Now I got a school that's taking my tax dollars and using the facilities that I'm paying for, and then having a job that they're bringing people into the school to daycare. Then, as a village, we have set up daycare to help them, and we're competing with the businesses in our community. And I just don't think that it's right that the village should compete with our businesses. Our village is supposed to run for the village, not take care of the kids. We got businesses out there, we got 3 or 4 or 5 different daycare places out there. What the hell are we doing that for? We don't need that money. We don't need to waste your time. We got recreational programs, we got a lot of different things. I have yet to find out that anything in my plan for a village, to operate the village, that we have to take care of daycare. No, that's BS. We take care of our taxpayers. And this corona crap is just going and throwing everybody off. We got tax dollars that we got to control. I don't care what we could make on ripping off these other businesses that we have, but we got taxpayers out here that are going to go out of business because they don't have the people, because we're supporting the school that's supported by our tax dollars to begin with. I just think the whole thing sucks, and I don't want to be involved in it. Thank you.
I fully understand why you have the program. I think it's awesome that we have offered that program too, because it's at a lower cost than a lot of people can't afford the higher daycares that are out there. So I know that they're there, but some people cannot afford those. So much like the elite sports and things like that people go to, we also offer rec programs at a lower price that people can afford, families can enjoy. So there is a purpose for it, not just to take away from our local businesses. It's truly to offer another means to our residents. I do agree with President Vanderstill about the money-wise, taxpayer money at a loss. I would like if we could just monitor it, because you're saying a loss at the end of this school year, which, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in January. I don't know, is there a deadline that the school's saying you have to give you're gonna stop it, you have to let us know by?
They would probably want at least a curve where they can comfortably get not a 2-week notice, but if I can give them a month notice, they kind of made it don't drop this on us tomorrow, and they can't just snap their finger and I couldn't get this together in 2 weeks, a month, yeah, but if we can at least give them some time to let them know.
I mean, nobody has a magic 8 ball to figure out what's gonna happen in the future and how this COVID's going to change or turn, but eventually these parents will go back to school, back to work, and the kids will need things, and especially now more than ever with COVID and businesses hurting. Yes, I understand that, but the community's hurting too, and when they go back, full-time or even get called back to work finally, because there's still a lot of people just waiting to be called back, they're gonna need someplace for their children.
The school has said they're gonna take it over if we back out, so we are, or the kids and the.
Yeah, because
and-
they understand there is a need for it.
And by the way, also, I just want to add that, like, if you go to St. Charles or Divine Redeemer, you can't just shuttle your kid over and go there. You got to be a student, like at Hartland South. You have to. This is only for Hartland South students. You can't, just because you're a Hartland resident, you can't go there and have your kid watch. That's why I'm kind of. I mean, I know because I had a child in the program, but the school's willing to take it over. They just started a whole daycare thing over there at South a while back. You know,
You've had it for 10 years.
Yeah.
How much money does it make on average every year?
So it's just 10.
Yeah, when we were at the other school, it was even higher.
So
Yeah.
$10,000 to $20,000 a year that the village is making, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now, just from a strictly business point, if I've got something that's been making me money, $10,000 to $20,000 a year, and it's affected by COVID, and there's some unknowns, but pretty much I'm betting it's gonna make us another $10,000 to $20,000 next year and the year after. Why, as a businessman, would I throw something that's gonna make me $10,000 to $20,000 out the window
For one time.
for a one-time deal?
But we don't-
It's not a business, it's a government.
But maybe
Why don't we have?
the government should be better run as a business, and we wouldn't waste so much money, and we could make some money instead.
Or we could take the resources that we're
So-
using in this program and reallocate them to other programs that we are putting time and effort into or money to build those up a little bit more. I mean, there's always that flaw.
It's the bottom line that we're
know?
making money. We're making $10,000 to $20,000. What other program comes close to making $10,000 to $20,000
That's a
a
big
year
gap,
for us?
10 to 20.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
That's
a
a
big
big
gap.
gap.
It depends on the kids, on how many kids we have.
How much did we make last year?
I don't have that off the top of my head.
Yeah. Because every year it seems like we get a new bunch of kids, you know, and then we have the ones that graduate and they go off to middle
we're
school.
Do you have a guess?
I would say
Guesstimate?
11 to 13,000.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're not made to, we're not a business. I mean, if that's the case, then why don't we have a bar? Why don't we start a bar for the community and give free drinks? Why don't we have the Piggly Wiggly give this, we'll take a portion of their business and give that. We're a government. We're supposed to protect our people. We're not supposed to, and make sure that they got the police, they got the fire, they got the water, they got the sewer. Those are the things that we have to contract. Daycare, I don't know how many people on the board went to daycare. I sure as hell did, and my daycare was get home before the streetlights came on. Okay, I'm older than everybody else, but I just don't want to get the village into business. They're not in business because they just don't know how to do it. If they did, everybody'd be profitable in the government.
If we weren't, but if we weren't in COVID, would we be turning this down right now?
No, we wouldn't be.
No, because that's when
And
we.
why
Because
have
it's
we been
making-
So I
doing
mean,
it for 10
so
plus
it's
years?
irrelevant to say
if
we're
it makes
making money or
Mike,
not. We
we're
wouldn't-
saving the taxpayers that money. Because if we're making $10,000 to $20,000 on this, that affects our budget all the way around.
It affects my revenue.
If we're not supposed to
my-
make money,
yeah.
shouldn't we be neutral, everything, not have?
That's generally recreation. Recreation is there not to be profitable. We have bands that compete against bars that have bands. We have a summer camp. So that's daycare. That is a glorified summer
You're
daycare.
absolutely right.
I have fitness classes, and that does compete against the,
We have
like, SNAP, and I've heard from them, why are you here? And I was like, well, back in '96, that's when we got established, So, I mean, I understand Trustee Myers' comment about competing against businesses, but the programs I run, yes, my fitness classes are probably top level, like my Yoga for Life. Numbers have dropped. Numbers are dropping. I think everywhere numbers are dropping. But like my youth, I'm not going out to be select baseball or anything like that. Hey, come here, play. Just have fun, learn the game, and then if you want more, go. That's the calls I get. A lot of the calls are, hey, are you competitive? No, just come and play. Your kid's going to learn what a bat is, or they can eat the dirt while the ball rolls past them. It's okay. This is just for fun. Yoga, just come and practice. Don't feel intimidated by a club or a private organization. Just come and do your yoga. Seniors, that is a rec is. It's for the community. It's for the people to come and just be. For seniors, cards, we offer it for free. They come, they play, they socialize. That's their socialization. You know, we have line dancing. That's free. They come and they socialize. That's why I'm here. I'm here for those people to come and just get out, be in the community, introduce them to new things. If they want to go more, if they want to get serious about their yoga and go to the retreat, go to the retreat. You know, but if you want to try it out, come for a couple of years, go for it. But I'm also here for all different financial reasons. I'm not here to pay rent. I'm not here to, I would love to be able to support me, but I don't support me. And maybe one day I will be able to, because I know that's everybody's goal, is to have me be able to support myself. Will that happen? I don't know. Would I love it? Oh yeah, I would love it. But we're here for the community. And yes, I am kind of a business because I make sure my costs are covered. And right now, my cost for before and after school care is not covered.
How much is it about approximately for a resident to attend? It's wraparound services,
It's
essentially.
different costs for how many days. The more days you sign up, 5 is the max. And what is it, 5 days? 5 days before or after, just one or the other, is $53. If it's both, I think it's like $89. And then if you have a family, like 2 kids, we have a discount for 5 days, AM or PM, or 5 days, both. But each day, like day 1, AM or PM is $23. 2 days is $24. 4 days is $44. 5 days is $53. That's one or the other. Because we figured if you commit that much, we'll charge less. So thank you for your business. So. And we have some people on payment plans where they're gonna commit every day, every school day for the whole entire year, and if their kid is sick, they don't get their money back. I did tell them, you know, if it's COVID related and you are not gonna be here for like a week, let us know, because we don't want you coming. So that's the difference this year versus all the other years, but we don't give refunds. Overall, we do not give refunds. Even for snow days, we don't give refunds.
And this is for just, I'm sorry, one more question.
no, go
For
ahead.
so like, because you can open and enroll to go to Hartland South,
Absolutely.
so you then would take out a
We
residence?
even have a young lady that's been with us since she's in 3rd grade. She's an 8th grader at North Shore Middle School, and she's been coming to us because her mom just does not want to drop her off at North Shore that early. And she leaves at 8:10. She walks over to North Shore.
Right, like, but you can open and enroll, so like someone
Oh,
who
yeah.
lives in the Swallow district can open and enroll in the Heartland Lakeside district.
Mm-hmm.
Do you allow the original Swallow district kid to then go to the wraparound program at Heartland South, even though they're a non-Heartland resident?
Anybody that attends school there can go.
Okay, thank
Yeah, we had a kid from Watertown. When he lived with his mom in Watertown, dad in Hartland, and he would drive over at 6:30 in the morning. Mom would drop him off.
Okay,
So.
thank you.
Yeah.
It's important to note on that point
Yeah,
that a resident can't go
correct,
unless they go to the school there.
correct.
And a non-resident can come if they go
Right.
to school there.
Any
That
person that
was
goes
right
to
up.
school. Yep.
Well, she just said that someone from North Shore goes there.
From North Shore Middle School, she
Right.
walks over from South. We don't
Right,
take the
so
North
she
kids.
gets dropped off at South and then goes there, stays at South and then walks over.
Right, but what I'm saying is that there's open
No, I
enrollment.
understand
Yeah.
yours. I'm
Yeah.
just saying to President Vanderstill, when he said that residents that do not go to that
Oh, yeah.
school can't go there. She said they do go there.
Okay. Residents, that's the same school district, it's Hartland
Okay.
Lakeside, so anybody in that school district, obviously the little kids that
Good
we
point.
know going on.
Yeah, and
right?
actually the
Great
individual that does that, she lives in Delafield now. Her mom moved and she went with, so
Why didn't the school pay for $7,500 or $9,500? We're
it's
gonna,
a lot of money, they said.
yeah.
We did ask them.
We did it, well, we asked, yeah.
And this, I mean, it's
If
not
the school doesn't
typical
care
that
about
it
them
would
being
ever
watched.
cost anything. This is just a COVID year. So typically we make money, we never lose money, and it's not to the deficit of our taxpayers, it's,
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if the program was still no COVID and it was doing this, we would be here too, you know, talking to you guys about it. But it's a COVID year. That's our reason for low enrollment.
And again, just like the recycle thing, we can come back in a month
See-
if you want to wait a month.
That's what I mean. We
And
can
she
suck
put
up
in her memo,
$9,500
the
for
school, if the
recycling,
school
but-
wanted, the school could come and take this program at any
kids.
time as well.
That's what they did at Hartland North.
But if you'd make a decision today, we wouldn't have brought this to you Unless it was, I mean, she's concerned. She
Well, I
doesn't,
appreciate
she doesn't want the
I'm a unit.
village
Well,
to.
and I appreciate,
Yeah.
I appreciate your financial concern, but
Yeah, I
if
think,
if we made $100,000, okay, and we're losing
Right.
7,500, now what? Take the numbers, we're
Yeah, everything was before COVID when we were making money on all this stuff. It was fantastic.
$99,200
you know,
still add.
unfortunately, this is, so we've kicked this around here for the last month, trying to see what these numbers would be. Obviously, this isn't an easy decision, which is why it's in front of the board as a policy decision, because there is no right answer. Obviously, we could move forward and take a loss. COVID could end and things could be back to normal and the board would be would take one opinion on that. Or, the other way, we could let the school take over the program and we could get out of this and in a year COVID's gone and it's back to a successful program and we might not be able to get it back. Again, there is no right answer. This is a tough situation. It doesn't have to be decided tonight. But it is, we realize this is a hard, we're asking a hard question on a tough situation on a tough year, so.
That's me. I guess I just don't like shooting from the hip, and like I said, it's an unknown. If we're a year from now, or we know that COVID's gonna be around for the next 2 years, okay, then it's to me, it's an easier decision, and it's a smart financial decision, but to throw something like this when 3 weeks from now, it could be a whole different ballgame, and we'd be back into it. And, when we talk about, we're not here for business, I get that, but if it wasn't COVID, we wouldn't be sitting here saying, we're making too much money, let's get rid of the program. It's not what we've been doing for 10 years, so I don't know that we should make any changes on a hunch.
However, I would agree with Trustee Connor, but where I'm struggling is that out of that 5 to 6 that are before school, I don't know if they're all Village of Hartland residents, and it's Village of Hartland residents that are paying for this program.
The majority of them are.
And the majority,
I can
It's not-
think of off the top of my head.
but like,
Are.
that's the only thing that's weighing me out right now
Yeah.
is that because it's aligned with the school district, and the school district has the means to take students from outside of their jurisdiction, so that's,
And they get money
I
for it.
sit there with that caveat too,
You gotta
you know?
remember, when they do outside enrollment, they get money for it too from the state.
Right, but,
Yeah.
but you're not getting money for,
No.
do you see what I'm saying? So, then that takes a loss. So if there's, that is sitting with me, that Village of Heartland residents, to Trustee Meyer's comment, are paying for a service that a majority could be non-Village of Heartland students. That's sitting with me a little bit. So,
But that was the same prior to COVID though, right?
probably, yeah. Again, so I mean, that would be a problem I think I would have just in general about the program. But that's all I had.
Somebody can make a motion one way or the other, or.
Yeah, I'll make-
Or whatever.
I'll make a motion to continue the program and see how it pans out, and then reevaluate for next year.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to continue the program. Any other discussion? I just want to say, hopefully this will make it in the minutes, that I'm absolutely opposed to us losing $7,500 for such a minimal amount of residents being able to utilize a program. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed?
Opposed. If we have a tie, what do we do? I don't even know what we do. I have the book in my bag, but I don't even know what we do. But I think the tie goes to the motion, correct?
I'm not sure.
I gotta look it up.
Three to
It was a
three
tie. It was 3-3. Give me 1 second, please. Apologize.
Sorry, Kelly. Thanks for hanging out with us.
No worries. It's a meeting.
Bravo calls her. Pot stirrer.
I'm the same boat as you guys.
It's tough.
It's tough.
This is a really tough.
You know?
But you gotta remember, it's not about you.
It
It's not
has
about
nothing
what
to do
you're
with you.
doing.
I
It's
know,
about,
but
it's
like,
about the
what do you do?
logistics of what we're
Right.
doing and
Votes
what the
because
principle that we're sitting up here supposed to do.
Cause I get all your
That's
guys'
getting
points,
stuck
everything,
for-
like, yep,
Yeah,
that's how
it's
that,
tough.
yep,
It's
yep,
tough.
yep, so we
Okay,
get it.
I can, should I call Hector quick? Or, well, I suppose we don't have to. What I'm reading right now is saying that because Typically, a vote would need a majority, that a tie vote does not pass because it isn't a majority. I can double check the book.
I think
It sounds right, to be honest, President, but.
Okay, if the board would like, I'm gonna make that as my ruling, but if the board would, and I don't want it to be, not just because I'm on that side, if we would like to take more time, I could call the village attorney right now. I do have the Roberts Rules book here, or we can look online if the board feels that they would like me to look into it further.
I believe that's correct.
I believe that's.
So that vote does not pass for lack of a majority.
The motion is lost, it's right here.
The motion is lost, yeah.
So.
I was
So,
gonna say, what does this mean for
thank
her?
you, Kelly.
We're kind of doing bold motions here.
Discussion, consideration regarding before. I would, what'd you say?
I just was telling her, you guys can do other motions.
Other
Right.
motions or?
I would, with that being the case, I mean, what do you
Wait
mean?
till there's a full board.
That's what,
Yeah,
I would
you
say,
could
To
can,
ask
table
the
it
same
until.
question?
can he change them up
Wouldn't have
to
time.
next time
Or
we
somebody
get a
could make
full
a
board?
different motion.
Huh?
Just like,
You can't change it now after you
no, I didn't
lose
say
it.
change, I didn't say change it.
I said, no, we already knocked this thing down. I'd like to see us get out of it as soon as possible, tomorrow if possible. No, I don't, it's up to you guys.
I think.
It does lose, it didn't pass. I mean, obviously, I'm not for revoting on it. You know, if you win a football game, you don't say, okay, we'll
Tim,
do
what
double
were
or
you
nothing
gonna say?
tomorrow.
Sorry.
You take the trophy and go.
So, somebody could make a new motion. I don't believe, trustee Connor could make a motion.
No, I can't.
But somebody could, I mean, it failed, so it's still on the floor. But with a 3-3 tie, I mean,
Can I make a suggestion? Like pick like January 31st, like come back first board meeting in February, because then it won't be a completely $7,500 loss, and we can keep you guys informed each month. We can put something together and put in the weekly updates to say, hey, this is where we're at. And then if you like, oh my God, this is not looking pretty, say, hey, let's bring it forward, or wait till beginning of February to talk about it again, to see how many people are going back and if the demand goes up.
I don't even know
I'd
if we
like,
have to wait that
I'd
long.
like to see us get out of it ASAP.
So Kelly, is the 75, is that what the cost of, to have the, staff? Is that
That's
their
to cover,
pay?
if we have $7,500 from the school district, that's breaking even. That's covering staff.
That's just staff pay?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just nothing more than paying, okay.
Yeah.
they don't.
7,500 is what it costs for staff for 1 year, correct?
For one school year.
Okay.
That's what we need. I mean,
I want to ask though, so if we
Yeah.
take 13,000 in revenue in minus 7,000, we're actually only making, we're coming out on top in the green with
Well, it
5,000.
costs more than 7,500.
oh yeah.
That's how much we're looking
yeah.
at losing.
Losing, but that's
We were asking,
7,500
what is that 7,500?
That's
staff.
how much we would lose.
Yeah, that's how much we would lose.
So if, that's what I'm saying, if we
When
make
you take
13,000
all
a
the
year
people we
and
have
staff is
versus-
7,500, we're not making 10 or 20,000 a year is what I'm
Right,
saying.
but in most years, we are making that over the salaries.
Okay.
I mean, I
We have
I
to hold-
understand
we
you
gotta-
guys, there's a lot of programs we do that aren't just for Hartland residents, so this is like, I know we're looking at, baseball, we do wrestling programs, there's a bunch of things where we don't just appease to Heartland residents.
Oh no, our
For a
biggest.
different cost though.
Yeah,
We
they
do the
did.
80
Public
20.
knows.
We do
Some of the programs, no.
Some of them are.
We do 80-20 split for some of them, but for like summer camp, I mean, there were a few years when I first started, we were in the hole for like $1,000, but not $7,500, you know, and it was known, especially when we had kids with special needs, because we had to add staff, but it was known.
We have talked about this for a long time. Now, if someone does want to make a motion to get some out, but we are in really gray area here only because we're in between just having got, I mean, someone can make a motion so it can even to go continue with discussion.
Want to make a motion to continue the program until when's the first meeting in December?
Looking. December 14th.
14th, right?
Until December 14th, and at that time, bring it up for discussion again, and we will have better numbers at that point on whether we should disband it or keep it.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to carry this through, to continue the program until December 14th. correct? Was that the date? December 14th, at which we're going to have clearer numbers, till December 14th. Discussion, same comment as I made last time, absolutely not. Anybody else?
I just think that if we do disband this, for the reasons, and I get your reasons.
The school will take it over. The people
I
are losing
understand
nothing.
that, but if we do that, we're setting a precedent to get rid of all of it.
To get rid of all of what?
All of it. Because if we're offering things to the community that other businesses could pick up, or that the school districts could pick up for us, then we should just get rid of all of it and not offer anything.
Well, this is one program. I disagree, but I hear what you're saying.
But it's the same precedent.
Everything that's losing $7,500 a year, that we should gut.
But
We don't know
what
if
I'm
it's
getting
losing
at is,
7,500
it's a COVID year, we haven't lost it yet. We're guessing that we're gonna lose it.
It's a hunch.
It's a hunch, so why are we throwing away, on average, $15,000 a year? If I'm a taxpayer and I'm watching this, and we're making $15,000 every year, if we get rid of that 15,000, it's gotta come from somewhere because it's affecting our budget. So that comes out of my tax money now, because maybe my taxes gets raised because we're getting rid of programs that typically 99% of the time will make us money.
That would be that's an opinion.
It is an opinion.
And I don't
but
think anybody's watching,
If you
you know,
look at
who
my
is
overall
thinking that.
budget, since I've started, I have lessened the tax subsidized, right? Am I saying this? Where are you? Less tax support, and this is because of one of these it's because of the fact that my revenue's gone up in just general classes and before and after school care. I'm sure that's plays a factor on being less dependent on taxpayer money for my department in a whole. So, like you said, if that 10, 20 gets taken out, then more of my department is going to be affected, where it's going to be more dependent on taxpayers' money. I've become less as I've been here.
But everything you do is a self-liquidator. Self-liquidator means that it pays for itself, and you get the fees to pay for that. So that is not taxpayer money that you're taking away. The self-liquidator is paid by the people that participate in it. Now, if we don't get involved in the $7,500 is just labor, it's still, you run self-liquidator programs. Everything you do is supposed to be that way. The only real expense we have is your expense as the manager, because everything else is paid for.
But I have operating costs. That's about $28,000.
But then-
I have Kinsey. She's my clerk, and then I have my salary. Those are not those. All my other budget items, my revenues, those come from, and my expenses on the other things. Don't look at the splash pad. That's tax as well. But I've become less dependent because of before and after school care is making money, because the programs that are the 80-20 split, they've increased, so there's more money to help support Kinsey and my operating costs and myself. I've become less dependent on the taxpayers.
Ryan, you've told me in the past, every time I ask you that same question, are these self-liquidator programs? You say, yes, they are. The only thing that we don't have self-liquidator is the administrative cost of the director.
Sure,
Everything else, all the different people that we have working, running these programs, the people that pay for all those fees. The only fee that we have is
Correct. We do offer things for the seniors we do offer programs that are free. We do offer $7,000 of concerts in the park that all go to, I'm just saying, not everything pays for itself in the rec department.
everything that we have citizens take part in, yes, they are. Events that we hire outside people to come in to run it, like dancing or soccer or whatever the hell it is, it's paid for themselves.
Correct. Those do.
So the only thing, if we come up with something like that, like a concert in the park or a street dance, that the ones that we do is a community whole.
Sure.
But just for some reason, they fall under the guide of the recreational department, which they probably should be under administration, or things that they.
In there saying that if they don't need 200 guides, to just do the amount that they do need. So they won't ever go over 600 guides in a year, but it's 200 per season that they can't go over. Right now, we can still use the fish hatchery free of cost. We propose that my annual fee is at $2,000 up until year 2020, and then it goes up to $2,500 all the way through 2026. So that's 5 years at that. They did finally, the Park and Rec Commission agreed to that, to propose to the Common Council to approve the agreement on those terms. The printing and mailing, we would just bill them and then we get the money, and then it covers the cost that we had to pay U.S. postage and American litho and stuff. The 25 to 2,000 is usually the revenue that actually goes in my budget and everything, so that other amount we never really see. But we are talking about ways of communicating, and possibly like in a year going back and looking at seeing how the enrollment numbers are and everything. So I'll stay in contact with them. I will be going to the Common Council meeting when they bring the agreement forward to discuss with them. My instructors are informed of that. What does that mean if they do not pass the agreement? I don't know. I don't know if that's something else we got to look at, talk to them, but that is something I think we'll deal with at that time. It sounds positive. Park Board or Park Commission seemed positive, like they don't want to lose our relationship and what we do for them. Delafield does bring a nice revenue in for us, so I don't want to see that go away. But it's also an opportunity to expand the programs and have more programs. So, yeah, that's it. Any questions on that?
That's good, Dave.
Now maybe I can make it to school board. No. All right, that's all I got, guys.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks.
2 seconds, I promise. We've had a couple holiday train meetings trying to do fundraisers for the food pantries. We're coming up with several different ideas. It's definitely going to be a little bit trickier this year with COVID. You know, we used to do stuff with Squad, different events, so we're working on it. We have a meeting in like a week and a half, and should come to a meeting if you want to be entertained. They're fun.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
And I just have a quick one for the business trick or treat that happened last week. It was an amazing event. Thank you to the police department helping out with the crossing, some of the village staff helping out. People seemed to have a great time, and Arrowhead High School students were in the parking lot doing their trunk or treat at the same time. Everything really meshed well together, so it was a very cool event for those who made it out.
Awesome.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second. I moved and seconded that we adjourn this meeting. All in favor? Aye. This meeting's adjourned.